Hi, good evening, everyone. So wonderful to see a room full of people. I'm sure you're waiting for the awards, but I wouldn't stand between you and the awards for more than 10 minutes. And the reason I'm here to speak is because I always like to come to a BW Legal World event. It's something that I have a long association with. So the commitment is there. And this time they asked me to speak on something which I'm sure is is something that we all think about. So the topic is charting the next frontier: excellence in law, governance, and strategic leadership. It's broad. It's it's very relevant, and I think it has some very interesting aspects, which, if you lend me ears for the next 10 minutes, I hope to share some of my views and thoughts on the same with you. When we talk of today's legal world, so to speak, we are at a very transformational period. Today, the legal fraternity looks different. We have the litigators were always there. Then we have a whole slew of law firms, and then we also have the in-house community. And together, this whole bunch of people have exponentially grown over the last couple of decades. And today, when we look at uh, Viksit Bharat 2047, and we looked at Atmanirbhar India, the role of the legal fraternity becomes exceedingly important. It is already important and will continue to grow. And therefore, we as legal practitioners in different forms, who are sitting in this room today and those who are outside and even otherwise, we have a huge role to play. Now, why do we have a huge role to play? I think there are very compelling reasons. One, the country is coming up with a regulatory regime that is so fast evolving. We are wanting to become a developed nation by 2047, isn't it? That's what we all hear Modi ji talk about. That's what Viksit Bharat 2047 is. And some of you who may have attended the GCI event in September, we talked of legal reforms with a view of Viksit Bharat. What is the requirement at that point in time? So to keep pace as a developed nation, to become a developed nation, you need to have to regulate many things that we didn't think about. Say, for example, data, which is today the new oil. So we need some regulations around that. A few years back, we had competition law come in. 2 years ago, we had the world of ESG sort of exploded around us, and then we started having the BRSR reportings. Gradually, every day now, recently the AI guidelines have also been brought to the public for comments. So you see the way the regulatory regime is moving very quickly, very fast, and therefore we, as from the legal fraternity, really becomes our job to see and to understand and to keep pace with that. So that is where I feel the legal part of it comes in. Enforcement, again, so companies, clients, stakeholders, shareholders today are more concerned that nothing should go wrong. Are we really well assessed for risk? Are we looking at the right aspects? Because in the growth path of any organization, the last thing you want is to be slapped down for the wrong reasons, right? So that creates a business discontinuity. The second part of the equation is governance. Usually, when we think of governance, and usually when you think of ESG also, ESG, environmental, social, and governance, the first thing that comes to mind is, compliance with all the laws of the land. That is there, I feel. That is the prime basis of that. But it has a bigger dimension than that. And you will appreciate that who does these compliances in any organization, anywhere? It's the people who do it. Without people, you will not be able to have those compliances. So therefore, even a step more important than just pure management of statutory compliances is having the right kind of culture, having the right kind of integrity. Professional integrity and ethics become increasingly important. So today, when you look at IPOs, today, when you look at investors, you look at shareholders, you look at your own investors and shareholders, I was very surprised at the Maruti Suzuki AGM earlier this year in late August, when one of the shareholders asked the chairman a very interesting question. He said, "What is your ESG score as opposed to last year?" Now, that is a very telling comment. You see, shareholders, मारुति के shareholders ऐसी बात कभी पूछते नहीं थे. And I remembered it. I said, wow. And somebody had to quickly, of course, the numbers were there and they were fed to the chairman and he spoke about it. So, shareholders, investors, even your customer today wants products which are compliant, which are green, which are environment friendly. And they want to be part of companies either as shareholders, investors, or customers, or even employees. Companies who are well governed. So, by good governance is not only restricted to just making sure that you're meeting the law of the land, that is hygiene. You got to move to a level above that, which is about making sure that you have focus on ethics and integrity. So it's just not about the compliance of laws with the external environment, but it is also internal compliances. Do you have the right kind of risk assessment committees? Are you looking at risks appropriately? Is your management involved in those risks? Is the last person on the shop floor or even in your office, the youngest employee, understands what good governance is? What kind of training regimes do you have? What kind of a culture do people walk into in an organization when they say that I'm proud to work for an organization that's well governed? So this becomes another area. Alongside with that, I think none of us in this room can say that we can shut our eyes to another very important aspect that has really taken off in the last 5 years, which is digitization and technology, and now AI. As lawyers, sometimes we believe, we think that, at least I, to start with, to be very honest, always felt that, our brains are far more important than just some tool that is going to aid me into doing things. But gradually, over a period of time, I have changed my thinking to the extent, not that we, as lawyers, our minds are not important. They always will be. But I have come to an understanding that there are things that digitization, good technology, and AI can support you on. So while we take our time to get used to it and see the relevance of these things into our everyday working, I think it's important that we cannot ignore it, or we just can't shut our eyes to it. So in future, when we look at the next frontier, this segment will continue to have an important place and play a rather significant role in how we are going to shape up in the next 5 to 10 years. Lastly, coming to strategic leadership. Now, all of you are leaders here. And I also tell my team that each one of you on the team is also a leader. Think of yourselves as leaders. What would you think is strategic leadership? Leadership today has different meanings. Gone are the days of the old form of leadership, which was top driven down. Today, it is a collaborative leadership. Today, when you look to hire leaders, you have to see whether, besides their intellect, the value they bring to the table in terms of their expertise, are they also having good EQ? That's also important. How do you deal with people around you? The world is so meshed with each other in different things that you cannot work in silos anymore. For any whether it is in the government, whether it is, say, when you're dealing with your clients as litigators, or whether you are in law firms, or more importantly, as in-house counsels, there is, you cannot say that I'm legal, I'm sitting on my table, when something comes to me, I'll take a look at it, and that's about it. No, you got to know the business, go to understand what your stakeholders are all about, and collaborate. Every time, the more the collaboration, the better the results. And I can say this from my personal experience of now over what, collectively 37 years. So that if you start with your stakeholders early and you make the effort, you don't expect them to come, do make the effort of going to them, give them the proof of the pudding is in the eating, let them feel that by your joining them early, they've had better results and better outcomes. You save the organization a huge risk, and you save them vital time, which becomes a highly important ingredient when you are trying to, you are on a growth path and everything is time bound. So collaboration becomes key. Integrity becomes huge. Today, you got to, with so much of change and so much of transformation happening, people can slip up. So leadership has to be having professional integrity, personal integrity, and that will require a huge amount of courage. It's not going to be easy. You're going to be pushed. There will be times and there will be occasions when you would be, walking that thin line. And like in the automobile parlance, we always say, drive somewhere. If you're driving on the right side, don't go to the curb. Don't drive completely to the curb, because if there is a little push, you're likely to tumble and go into the ditch. So try and drive closer towards the center, which actually just says that when you are working, err on the side of caution, and also don't hit too much the gray. Remain more this side, so that when you get pushed, you still do not cross the line, and you're able to keep your organization within that sphere of compliance before they do the business. That becomes important. It's also important to see, and some of my colleagues here would know that, but imagine your company in the newspaper tomorrow. All of us would love to see it for the right reasons. You would want it to, we've done this merger, we've done this, we've sold so many cars, we've done whichever work your company is doing. But imagine if it came out that, you have abused your dominant position, you have, your, audit has shown that you have evaded this duty or that duty. Immediately, if you are a listed entity and even otherwise, it breaks stakeholder trust. One very important factor when we do business, and we leave it as lawyers to our commercial stakeholders to think about this, but I think we need to be equally mindful that stakeholder trust, and I call it stakeholder, I'm not talking shareholder only. Shareholder is one of the stakeholders. It's your customer, it's your own employee, it is the regulator. It is your entire value chain, could be it your upstream and downstream, your suppliers, vendors, and your dealers. Everybody, if you break the trust once, it takes a huge amount of time to build it back. And people who've, the famous example of Cadbury's and then Maggie and many others, even Volkswagen for that matter. I remember reading about the Volkswagen CEO saying, "Oh shit, we've lost the trust." When that episode happened, it was not about that how much revenue is at stake. It is about losing the trust, because if trust is lost, then everything is lost. So that becomes another very important ingredient for strategic leadership. And lastly, innovation. We have to innovate. We cannot live in the world of the past. We have to be part of companies that are highly progressive on technology and innovation. We need to support them. We need to understand what that innovation is and be part of it. You got to join that bandwagon. You can't remain behind on it. Your personal preferences aside, but let's shed those and think more broadly on this subject. Innovation will have to be done with great responsibility, because it can go wrong, And therefore, as people who are the conscience keepers of the organizations, it's our job to make sure that not only do we know about it, but we help the organizations to tread that path carefully and yet achieve the desired results. So I think bringing it down, it comes down to integrity with courage, governance with empathy, and innovation with great sense of responsibility as leaders. And lastly, it is your people. Today we are in this room, we are having BW Legal World Conference because nobody can have it without all of us being here. So it's all about people in any aspect of life. So if your teams are with you, they are Gen Zs, they're new. We just outside, we were having this whole conversation that we all need to relook, rethink, and redefine the way we work with teams, we work with people, and how we collaborate. I think that will be the secret sauce of success going forward. And with that, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.